time. They put a lot of energy. And they didn't make it to the finish line this year, but that doesn't mean that they didn't have a great race, and they don't have a lot to be proud of. Just starting, there's some folks that are here, and some folks that, if they're on the Canadian side, they stay there. So I'm just going to read off everybody's name, and if they're here, we'd love to see you. Dennis Tremblay, Alan Dennis, Wade Mars, I know you're here. Where's Wade? Come up and give us a talk, Wade.
I didn't know they were going to make me come up here first. I just want to thank that cook. That was a great meal. I'm really full right now. And I want to thank my handlers. They did a great job out there on the trail. Thank all the mushers. We're all really good sports and everything. And I want to thank Hugh for letting us stay at his house before the race. And Sebastian for helping me out on the trail a lot. Stuff like that. It's a great race. All the people out there were good. Trail markers, volunteers, race marshal, everything was cool. I learned a lot and hope to see you guys next year. Thanks.
Another name that's not new to the Yukon Quest, Michelle Phillips. Ran a great race through Dawson. And Clint Warnke. Clint, I know you're here. Come on up. On the Iditarod, this is his first time running the Yukon Quest. So it's great to have you on the show this year.
I just have a little bit to say. One and a half. First of all, I'd like to congratulate all the other mushers and competitors for completing the race, and some of us that didn't complete it. I know we had a tough but really good time out there. All the volunteers, thank you very much. If it wasn't for you, of course, we wouldn't have a race, and all the sponsors as well. Speaking of sponsors, I do have some personal sponsors that helped me get to this race, and without them, I wouldn't have got there at all. Some of them will, and if I forget some, forgive me, but I'm going to do my best to thank them all. Becky and Alex Alexander, they helped me with my entry fee. That's Pleasant Valley Store, thank you. Tom Bunsen and Pacific Rim Geological Consulting. Arctic Fire Safety, McShane's Carpet Plus, Denali Industrial Supply, Everything Automotive. They helped keep my truck going because it broke down like everybody else's just before the race, but made it through the race, so that was really good. 10 Squared Racing, Northern Sky Lodge, Lisa and Barb Moore and Joanne Fletcher, they helped put together some snack bags for me, helped get me fed out there. Lisa and Barb Moore also have been helping me a lot with some dogs. I had 2 dogs in my team from them, and they did great. Thank you very much. Bianca and Carl Harrington, Amanda and Robert Gaikis. Amanda made some beautiful beaver mitts, as you might have seen at the start of the shoot when I left there, and they kept my hands nice and warm. I really appreciate that a lot. Terry Walters, Allstate Insurance, Nits Badger, Road to Sorrow, Hoof and Paw Body Works out of Alberta, Canada, David and Pat Raffle, Kate Thomas, John and Alice Love. That's my partner's parents, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a bit. And my brother, Roger Warnke, and his family. AIH helped me out a bit too. Sarah Neighbor, Patty McCall helped make all my meals. And our handler, Austin Barr, he stayed home and took care of the dogs when we were out there playing around on the trail. And John Day for coming out and helping us train as well. Megan Perry, she came on board at the last minute to help us with the truck and drive down and help Sarah with the drop dogs. Without her, Dawson would have been probably a bit of a nightmare. She'd been there before, and it really helped out a lot. Cody and Paige, Dog Paddle Designs. Cody designed a tail dragger that was just incredible, and he is very much a sled builder, and if anybody needs a sled, that's the gentleman to see, because they are incredible. Now, my partner and kennel, my better half and kennel partner, Sarah Love, I don't know if all of you have known, there's a little rumor going around. It's not a rumor. When I was supposed to finish this race, she was going to marry me. And we left Dawson, and the wind was blowing like it was for everybody, but it was 30 miles an hour. I was breaking trail, and I just decided, for the well-being of my dogs and everything, I had a young dog team left, that this was far enough, so we turned around and head back. And I pulled into where our camp spot was, and they were just finishing cleaning up, and Sarah turned around and looked at me in quite a shock. And I said to her, our race is finished. Will you still marry me? And she smiled, a big smile and a tear, and she said yes. I'm going to hold you to that now. Thank you very much.
Thanks, It was great to have you on the trail. Also scratching in Dawson was Christine Rolas and Didier Moja. Josh Cadzo, he was here, but is he still here, Josh? He had to leave early. He had a family emergency he had to take care of. And Hugh Neff. Hugh, I know you're here. We'd love to hear from you.
Been wanting to get this out of the way all day. First of all, before I get started, for any of you late night folks, there's many mushers in this room who have a hero, a legend. He is the man of music of Alaska, and he's going to be playing at Ivory Jacks tonight. His name is Hobo Jim, and you guys all know that Dick and Joni Ellsworth from Ivory Jacks have been a big sponsor of this race for years, so I hope a bunch of you can make it out there. And the beauty of seeing Hobo Jim is every time Hobo plays, there's a Quest musher named Brent Sass who gets up on stage, and you literally get to hear Brent Sass go through puberty. It's obviously been a very roller coaster trip for me this year. Nothing like being on the Quest Trail for 700 miles by yourself. And I did a lot of talking with God out there, and just thanked Him and begged Him for mercy, often at the same time. But I have an incredible appreciation for the people who put in the trail, especially with Mother Nature this year. You guys all know that point from Eagle to Slavens was just really, really pretty tough to even find a marker because they're all wind blown in. But we persevered, and that's the name of the word in mushing, and we got there, and I actually caught up to the trail markers, the breakers in Slavens. And there's a couple just volunteering, and you guys all have to realize, mushers are really good at whining and complaining. We don't really realize that a lot of these people are just doing this on their own time and often on their own dime. And so I give it up to not only the trail breakers, but Hans and his crew, the vets. I had a really fun time with them this year out there. There's no better feeling than coming into like Eagle or one of these far-flung checkpoints and having a bunch of veterinarians taking pictures of your dogs. And it was very honoring. I mean, I came into Eagle and Wayne Hall looks at me and he goes, "You know what, your dogs aren't supposed to be looking this good." And it felt very good. Before I forget, I gotta take care of business real quick or I'm gonna get in trouble with a lot of people. Most importantly, Tamara. So I'd like to thank Red Paw Dog Food. There's a reason we use it. It's awesome. And Mountain Ridge, we use their ointments for massaging the dogs, and they love it. North Petro has been a good sponsor of ours. And this is a funny story for you. Probably more funny for the Canadian folks because they know this guy. He's a politician, and we all know what politicians are like. This guy is the mayor of Dawson. His name's Peter Jenkins. And believe it or not, he sponsored us this year. Of course, because Lance wasn't here. But he not only gave us a place to stay and food, but he actually gave me or Tamara $200 to buy drinks in Fairbanks. So if you guys come out tonight, maybe we can get you a drink. You all know what happened on Eagle Summit. It's something I'm going to live with for the rest of my life. A lot of mushers and sometimes their wives get a bad rap in this scene. I know a lot of you in this room even often ridicule me behind my back. And I don't really care, to tell you the truth, because it's not a sign of who I am, it's a sign of who you are. And I would personally like to publicly thank Ken Anderson for getting me almost all the way up Eagle Summit, and for Gwen Holdman, his wife, getting me rapidly down Eagle Summit, as well as for Eric Cosnudo. One thing we should all be wary of in this day and age and this is something that a mentor of mine, Lester Earhart, told me, is no matter who it is and where you are, if you're in the north, you better learn to get along with everybody, because you never know when you might need their help. And that's why, maybe religiously or politically we don't see eye to eye with everybody, but it doesn't mean that we can't respect them for their beliefs. And I know I try to. Now that he's back in the room, I can talk about this kid, because I really respect the heck out of him. We actually camped out about 40 miles the other side of Brayburn. And I started getting to know Dallas Seavey last year in the Joe Reddington's race, the Iditarod. And how I got to learn to know Dallas was we were about 2 miles from safety, right outside of Nome, and this kid comes flying by me, and I look at him, and I go, "Am I going that slow?" And then I said, "Where's your dad?" And because his dad was about 45 minutes back. And to tell you the truth, I know there's a lot of rivalry or whatever between Canadians and Alaskans and Iditaroders and Questers, and you know what? I'm all of that, and I love myself, so I don't really care about it. I don't care if you're a Quester, a Iditaroder, Canadian, you're all good to me, because we're all should be lucky to realize what we do, This is a pretty messed up world. For us to get out here and play in the woods with Mother Nature can be pretty rough sometimes, but we should be very grateful just for the opportunity. And the Seabees, Tyrell's here, Dallas's older brother, and Tyrell actually taught me a lot about the Iditarod Trail. That's when I knew you guys had an amazing mom, because these kids might be in their 20s, but it's like talking to a 50-year-old. They're very well mannered, they're courteous, they're competitive, but they don't look down on you. They're just trying to do their best, and that's why I really give it up for Dallas, because we talked about it at that first campground. He just said, "I'm going to keep it a nice schedule, and then I'll think about competing." And he kicked it up a notch when he needed to, and my hat's off to you, dude. Like I said to you on Facebook, man, you ain't no rookie to me, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. And I hope you come back too, man, because it's a lot easier going to Whitehorse. At least Eagle Summit. So anyways, I'm at the Mecca Bar the other night having a beer. I walk in with my buddy, and we're a little bit early to see Dallas come in. So I walk into the Mecca bar, expecting to see a lot of local native folk and all that. And I walk in, and the first person I see is Lance Mackey. And you know what Lance said to me? He said, "Boy, I was really worried about you because, you're looking pretty good out there. But then Eagle Summit happened, so I'm not really too worried about you or any other team this year." So I know Dallas agrees with this, and maybe Sebastian and a few other guys. Lance, the less you worry about us, the better. Because all we really try to worry about is our dogs. And unfortunately, I lost a dog this year, Geronimo. And if any good can come out of this, it's to help promote the care of dogs, not only by mushers, but the community as a whole. We all know that there could be improvement not only in Fairbanks, but all over Alaska, as well as in Whitehorse, everywhere really. Anyways, one of my sponsors is the National Education Association of Alaska. I go all over the country and talk to about 40, 50 schools a year about what it's like to be a northerner and to travel and living your dreams. And tonight I found out from some lady, she's wearing the cat in the hat over there, that my sponsor has donated a large sum of money to our kennel. And in our name, we're going to be donating that money, half of it to the animal shelter here, to buy food in Fairbanks, and the other half to the May Baker in Whitehorse. Yeah, there's one thing you all know about me. I've pretty much been a screw-up over the years, so we should all be thankful that I didn't win this race, because it really would have been a sign of the end of the world. You have comedy hour. How you doing, folks? That being said, though, there will be a day sooner or later when hopefully I do win a race, and maybe it's going to be, Reddington's Run. Who knows? I know I've got a beautiful and lovely dog team, and I'm very honored and humbled to have them. I don't know how we bred them up. I don't go out and buy dogs and borrow dogs and all that stuff. These are my babies that we breed. We keep in pens loose. We treat them like a pack of wolves. And I'll tell you what, it's pretty amazing to watch how they form a bond with each other. We really spend a lot of time with our dogs, indoors and outdoors. But I'll tell you what, even if I do happen to win another race, no matter what race it is, I will first and foremost always be a Quest musher. Thank you.
In addition to Hugh, we had Hans Gott, and I think he's already gone back to Whitehorse. Dan Caduce, and Johannes Wright. So thank you to all of those mushers. Again, a lot to be proud of out there. All right, so as we know, our Red Lantern winner, Hank DeBrune, is speeding his way to Fairbanks, so hopefully he'll be here soon. So next I'd like to bring up our 12th place finisher, Jerry Joinson. Jerry? And Jerry just finished the race not that long ago, so we're glad he's awake. Glad he got a warm meal in his belly. He's moving a little slower maybe than the rest of us, but there's good reason for that. Not only are these folks that are towards the back of the race, they end up spending a couple more days out in the elements in the cold than the champions, so they've got a lot to be proud of as well. So Jerry, great race.
Well, if anybody knows me at all, they know that I'm not very good with speeches, especially when I'm a little tired. So I was talking to my wife a little bit, and she was writing some things down, and hopefully I will be able to read them. First of all, I want to thank all the volunteers again. It was with the amount of work that you guys put in, it was incredible. You were out there in the cold with us as well all the time. And in the cabins and the checkpoints there. And that's great. The officials, I'd like to thank them for all the encouragement that they gave us. Rookies at the back of the pack. And the vets for keeping me and the dogs going. I happened to get a little bit of Tylenol or whatever it was. But, yeah, with the being at the back of the pack, most of us we decided that we would run together for safety from Dawson because of the wind and the storm, so we thought it would be better to do it that way there and break trail for each other. And where am I there? And we did that together, and what I'd like to do is thank I'm just having trouble focusing my eyes here. I'd like to thank Tamara and Kyla for dragging me up over the summit there. It's incredible to see those women pull my team up there while I'm standing there watching them go up. I just would have had nerve enough to ask them to come down with the sleigh to pull me up too. And I'd like to thank the friends and family for their constant encouragement in emails and from Facebook and everything else, and all of my friends from all over the world. And my handlers, my wife and my daughter Lexi, who are always there for me. And other sponsors, Yukon Chimney Sweep. Charles and Lucy put it up with me for a month before the race. And when I found out that my handlers that were supposed to be at the Dawson checkpoint decided not to come, they stepped up and set up my camp for me.
Who were those handlers that didn't show up?
That was my son.
Thank you. So Gary was part of the group again. He said they left the Dawson City checkpoint together and traveled as a pack. We called them the 6-pack, and then it was the Fabulous 5. And then now the 4 of them did come to finish, so we're really proud of them, and watching them work together on their trackers was really amazing. Just to let you guys know, everybody now is, the Yukon Quest pays out the top 15 finishers, so everybody that finished is receiving some of the first payout. There's also 2 positions that didn't get paid out because they didn't finish, and so that money is going to be equally divided among all the finishers, so everybody gets a little boost into their paycheck. So, all right, finishing in 11th place is Kyla Durham.
Well, I'm glad I'm here now. We were out there for a while. I guess I'd like to thank my handlers, Casey, who first had to suffer all year driving the team behind me, I'd left him behind a lot and then made him ride the brake the rest of the time. We weren't very coordinated that way. And I'd like to thank Brent for deciding he wanted his puppies to run the quest this year and that I was the person to do it. That was pretty cool. And my parents for raising money back home, and then my mom for coming out for a week to take care of our 80-some dogs out in Eureka from up in California. And my dogs, for Brent's dogs, the dogs had some really good experienced leaders to lead my puppy team. And the puppies, they were amazing. Most of my dogs had their first quest, and they did phenomenal. I'd like to thank all the volunteers, especially in the no handler zone. I always felt very sort of taken care of in those places. We'd come into places and I'd be all like, woo, and come in, and there's always someone being like, here's food over here, and there's you can sleep there, and always very cared for. And the vets were always very helpful. I was sometimes, haven't done a lot of racing and unsure about some things, and they were always very, very helpful. So thanks a lot. And dog paddle design, Cody. I can't describe how awesome that sled was. I came into McCabe and all the people there were talking about the trail, and I was like, oh, it's just so much fun. I had the sled and I could just go wee. Because it's an amazing sled. I love it to death. And of course the Fabulous Four, or Goldilocks and the Three Bears, or whatever you wanted to call us. Me and the other people I traveled with. It was fun. It was good coming over Eagle Summit to have some help and to help them out. Made it easier in the end. And yeah, volunteers and everyone else, and yeah, thanks. Glad to be here.
Checkpoint with a rock star smile. She was always smiling out there. So I'm sure the dogs enjoyed that enthusiasm as well. All right, finishing in 10th place, my veterinarian, one of the best ones out there, Tamara Rose. And the story was that when Tamara came into Circle Checkpoint, they said, You're in the top 10. They said the look on her face was priceless. So congratulations.
I got in today, so I'm not really coherent. Hopefully I won't ramble too much. Thanks to my family and friends. They've been behind me so much. I mean, we all know how much work this is, and they're behind me, not expecting me to be quote-unquote top 10. And thanks to my nannies, Abby and Christina, for taking care of me and the dogs so well. Thanks Judy and Devin Courier, who have entrusted me with some fine dogs, and I wouldn't be here without those dogs. When it's over, you have a really good time. It's a tough way to lose 10 pounds, I tell you. But, the head marshal and judges were really fantastic people. I had some weak mental moments in Dawson City, and when Hans came to tell me that American Summit was life-threatening, I said, well, I don't need that, This is just a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. But after a lot of thinking and Jerry doesn't know how much he kept me in the race, but he did, just by the tone in his voice. And so I'm so glad I didn't cave into that weak moment. Thanks to Kyla for some cool girl power moments there on Eagle Summit. That's memorable, and that we rocked. That was a good time. There you are. volunteers were really wonderful. Every checkpoint was just great, and people took really good care of us, and they were just deep character people. And thanks to the dogs, I finished with only 7, which was a little stressful. But boy, those were some 7 fine dogs. They came in looking happy and rolling around, and just really proud of them. So, thanks.
All right, finishing ninth is a person that's no stranger to the Yukon Quest, Dave Dalton. Dave, this is about the quickest I've seen you, so we're looking forward to you in a feverish condition.
It's a good thing I caught it at the end of the race, because I wouldn't have survived this race. Boy, what a wild and crazy race this was. It's probably one of the toughest races I've experienced. And coming out of Dawson, we were like out of the money, and I'm thinking, well, we're going to catch somebody. We reserved the team. We're going to go out there, and the wind started picking up. And Thomas Texas telling me that Sebastian, he said he's never seen it so windy out there, 40 Mile. I'm going to go out now. Then I see Jody got turned around somehow and came in, and I'm getting worried here. I'm going, geez, how are we going to get out there and get to 40 Mile? It's a 60-mile run. So I get out there with the leaders and started Mike got out there with his team, started breaking trail. So we just all worked together, breaking trail and finding the trail. It took us like 10 hours to get to Sebastian's. But we worked together. We had Jody up there feeding us and keeping our calories going. But Mike and I worked our butt off. Our leaders were really impressive. And it's a good way to find some good quality leaders when you're out there in that windstorm. And they're trying to find that, that trail and going back and forth. They're working hard. So I was impressed with Mike's leaders and my leaders. And it was a good wake-up call that we had some really good leaders. So from there, we went from Sebastian's, we went out to the bridge, the 50-mile bridge. Bear with me, I'm sick. But there's no trail markers as I go, Jesus, this is getting tough. I mean, my young leaders are just not trusting me anymore. And Mike takes over, and he goes a little way. So working together was really nice, Mike and I going back and forth, and we made it. That's the main thing. We made it all the way to the wall tent. And from there, we went up over the Eagle Summit, and then they sent a trail breaker when we got up to the top and said, yeah, we went out looking for you guys. We were worried. And I go, well, you better turn around and break trail in front of us, because our team is spent. So we worked together and just, and we're hearing all these stories about people in the overflow up to their necks and Eagle Summit. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, Mike and Joey, we gotta rest these dogs all night, because this is getting 50, some places 60 below. We'll travel during the daylight so we can see what's going on. So it worked out really well, where we just ran together and worked together. And as a pack, we decided, we'll start racing when we get to Circle. But then we heard these stories, and we delayed that. And we delayed it up over, out of Circle, all that ice and stuff. So we went out during the day just to get over there and just see the situation. But it was nice. It was froze up, and we just glided right over. And then the stories we got, from Eagle Summit, and we did the same thing. We got to do one more run, during the day and see what's going on. We'll get to 1-1, then we'll start racing again. But it worked out. We made it, and Mike and I had a great last leg. We were racing back and forth, and he surprised me with how fast he can get those sides going. I wasn't expecting him. I was traveling like 7.5 miles an hour, and he was saying, "Oh, my team's only going like 5.5." So I thought I had it in the bank, and Nordale Bridge, here's a headlight. I'm putting on my bib. Here's a headlight. I go out now. Okay, Mike, you got the trail. Go ahead. So I really couldn't. As a young kid, I couldn't push that team anymore. So I just let them ease in. But we had a good race. The young ones did great. We'll be back next year. And I want to thank all the volunteers, all the vets and everybody that supports this race year after year. It's just amazing that as a team effort to continue this race, because there's a lot of ups and downs, and you just have to keep at it. And we'll see you all next year. Thanks.
All right, finishing in 8th place, running those fast Siberians, is Mile Ellis.
Wow, that was a tough one. Put all my tough runs in my 3 previous quests together, and they didn't equal what this one was. But I think some of the best things in life are tough. And sometimes it's good to fight for what you get. I'd like to thank all the volunteers, not just like the folks who were paid to put on this race, but those volunteers are awesome. They're out there working their butts off in the freezing cold just to help us along our way, and that's really cool. The judges and the vet staff are both awesome. Really appreciate their work, helping us get down the trail and doing better every time. That's been a big thing for us every year, and despite the fact I was a couple days slower this year than I was last year, somehow this race is much more rewarding. It's really nice to work through the tough stuff. There's a few really special places on the trail that I have to call out, and that's Eagle. Kate and Eagle was just awesome to me this year, and I really appreciate her support and friendship. Pat and the crew at Slavens are always awesome, and really appreciate their work and just how friendly and helpful they are on the trail. Yeah, there's a million other people, but yeah. Need to thank my sponsors. Cody at Dog Paddle Designs built me a sled this year. Just an awesome sled. It came through a tough race in perfect shape and drove like a charm. I worked with him this summer to build it. We built what I wanted, and he delivered a sled that suited me and my team exactly what I wanted. And if you guys need a sled, from a kick sled to a Yukon Quest tough sled, Dog Paddle Designs in Esker, Alaska is the place to go. Momentum Dog Food stepped up and helped us this year. It was my first year feeding that food, and my dogs finished with great weight. Despite the cold, I slowed down some and dealt with the cold, but that's a quality food that will take care of your dogs. My other sponsor is Mountain Ridge. My friends John and Amy from Maine, back east where I started mushing. And they make a whole line of liniments and all sorts of dog care products, from booties to coats, and I use all their stuff. And it really helps me take good care of my team, and I appreciate their help. My buddy Phil came up from New Hampshire, where I'm from, this year. He's been hearing about the Quest for a long time, and how crazy and what an insane thing this is, and what a family it is. And he came up to experience it, and I really thank him for being a big part of our team this year. Thanks, Phil. I'd like to congratulate all the other finishers and those who were wise enough to scratch when they did. Dallas, awesome race. Way to take care of your dogs, man. Nice job. My wife Sue is incredible. For a couple weeks here, she has to be a handler instead of a wife, and sorry about that. Thanks, baby. I can't say enough. You make me a better musher every day, and a better person. And certainly, last but not least, my dogs. They kick ass. I love them.
All right, finishing in 7th place, rookie no longer, Jody Bailey.
I had watched this race from the handler's perspective for a long time, so I maybe thought I kind of knew what I was getting into, and I was wrong. But it was a really wonderful experience. It was so wonderful that actually coming in on the Chena River, I started to see lights and hear planes and thought to myself, I'm just going to stop because I don't want this to be over. Again, I want to thank all of the volunteers, especially the veterinarians who did so much, not just this year's vet crew, but handling for Dan. The veterinarians are just so generous with their time and knowledge that a lot of what I was able to do here on the race was made possible by their assistance for the past 10 years. We often say it takes a village to raise a musher, and a big part of my village is sitting right over there with Christy and Jameson, who can't be here, Ramey Brooks, Rick and Caroline, Joel, the wonder handler, and Tanya, the amazing house sitter, and so many more friends and family that came together to make this possible. And of course, Dan, who for years has been kind of out there breaking trail for me so that I can learn and aspire and dream, and he really helped make this possible for me. We also have some sponsors. I would like to thank Halliburton Sperry Drilling Alaska, Usabelli Coal Mine, Ken Ross Gold Fort Knox, and believe it or not, there's a Bailey's Farm in Wisconsin, and I called them and said, "You're a Bailey, I'm a Bailey, you need to sponsor us." And we have these fantastic freeze-dried products that you can get in Alaska through Underdog Feeds. Again, to all of the volunteers and paid officials who came together and make this possible. The folks who won't hear this are the incredible people out at the hospitality cabins. I mean, those guys make great cookies. Who are out there. We get so much encouragement as mushers and support. It really helped make the trip much more special for me. So I want to thank you all.
Thanks, Jody. And Jody and fellow musher Kelly Griffin have something they do every year. They go and they celebrate their victories at Value Village and buy very gorgeous outfits. So I just want to point out how fabulous they look. All right. Also looking fabulous in 6th place, Alan Moore.
So do you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, again. Like we say it many, many times, over and over, how much the volunteers have helped, and they have tremendously. I just can't imagine these people going out there with their time to do what they do. Like at some of these hospitality places, one place cooked me 8 eggs, and she just kept fixing them, so I quit eating. So, pretty cool. Well, my wife over there asked if I had any stories, and let's see, the whole, as well as these media people came up to me and said, "What do you think about the next part of the race? What's going to happen?" I said, I don't know. I know it's going to be something, and I'm aware of it, and I'm ready for it. So anyway, we'd like to also thank the veterinarians. Al and his crew did an excellent job. Whenever we're at places, we can't thank them enough. And they helped us with the dogs to see what was going on with them, to help them get through these races. Without them, we couldn't do it. So also like to thank my wife, Allie, and Ryan Olson for being two of the many handlers that we had. Ray Crow was my main handler at Dawson and through Dawson. So we'd like to thank him a lot. And my daughter Bridget, which she went to Circle and helped tremendously on the other way. So we just have a family. Each one of us here has a family of mushers that helped us get through this race. So I'd like to thank all of them. So anyway, that's about all I have. So thank you.
He and Allie became the second married couple to finish both the Yukon Quest and Iditarod, and Ken Anderson and his wife, Gwen Holman, are the first. So, any other part of this thing? All right, going into our top 5 and our top woman finisher. We have in 5th place, Kelly Burton. Special. Nice choice.
Thank you. Just trying to change the culture of the Yukon Quest banquet one dress at a time. Bree?
Oh yeah, Bree's looking fabulous.
Yes, Bree looks fabulous. And now I know it's working. Long johns. She has better legs?
You got better legs.
Well, not showing her legs. Anyway, I want to say this race has been quite a ride. I want to thank my dogs. I thank Ramey Brooks for providing for my dogs. And by parentage, another 4 of my dogs. So it was a really excellent trail where it was an excellent trail, and it was very challenging where it was very challenging. And when I was camping on the American Summit for 4 hours, waiting for Brent Sass and Silver to come rescue me, and then I realized he'd already gone by. So I was up to myself to save myself. So we packed up and, kind of followed the dots of blown out snow machine track into Eagle. And then I kind of had to recuperate there for a long time anyway, so he got even further ahead of me. Dang it. But Spike and Lindy made it possible for me to run this race. And Ed handled and also made it very possible for me to run this race. And I thank Kim for coming up from Australia, and she helped Ed with the race. So it's a very solitary sport, but it's a huge community effort, and I just can't believe that so many people get behind us, and I truly appreciate it. Thank you.
And Kelly also helps us out all year. She is the musher representative on the Alaska side board, so she gives a lot of her time throughout the year to make sure that the mushers are represented in our board decisions. So thanks, Kelly, for your time on that. All right, finishing in 4th place, hero musher, Brent Sachs.
Well, it was definitely a roller coaster ride out there, and I think that's what we have to look forward to every year. I thrive off that stuff, and I think most mushers do. And the great thing was that it was a roller coaster ride. It was up and down, and the mushers, were highs and lows, and the best part was everyone at all the checkpoints, all the volunteers, I felt like they were all sort of on a level head and always supportive of us. And every place I came into, most of the places I'd just blow through, but they really wanted to help us in any way we possibly could. And those volunteers and everyone in the checkpoints, I really give it up to you guys. And the hospitality stops, like Alan was saying, they'll just feed you till you can't eat anymore, and then you go take a nap, and they come out and they want to feed you some more, and it's a little overwhelming at times, but it's what we need out there on the trail for sure. And then the race organization, it was a great race. A challenging one to keep under control, mostly because of Mother Nature. But you guys did a great job. The vets, it was awesome. You guys did an awesome job out there. You really were helpful when we needed it, and always friendly, and smiles on your face. I know it gets tiring for everybody, and towards the end of the race, I went back out to watch Kyle and sort of backtrack from Central again, and even those guys have been out there for 12 days at that point, and they had all smiles on their face. So it's really awesome. It helps us keep a positive attitude when all of you guys are keeping positive attitudes. As far as I have millions of people to thank. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for, I can't even name them all, but friends that took care of my place out in Eureka with all my dogs that were still out there. Nell, Kyla's mom, and her friend Ann came up from California. My friend Greg and Emily here in town. It's a big job, and it's remote. There's no power. There's no electricity. There's no water. There's nothing. You got to kind of take care of it for yourself. So they did a really good job of stepping in and taking care of that stuff for us. Momentum dog food. I've been feeding it for a long time. It's awesome food. I love it. I highly recommend it. My family, obviously, my mom, who surprised me last night and came in from Minnesota. So that was really cool. Thanks, Mom. C-Drive Computers. He's a huge supporter. Buys my booties every year. David Munson, who gives me a great place to train up in Eureka. I think that's one of the successes of our kennel this year is our training grounds. We have a great place with lots of water and lots of wind, which this race was all about water and wind. So we had a good time through it all. And once again, Mr. Cody over here with Dog Paddle Designs. Cody's been a good friend of mine for a while, and he came to me a while back and said, "I want to start building sleds. Would you drive one?" And I said, "You build a sled, and I'll drive it." And so I took it. He built a great sled, and I used it. And he said, "Use it and see if you can break it." And I'm fairly good at breaking things. So I went out, and one of the greatest stories I have is I went out and we have a hot springs about 15 miles from my kennel, and I went out there and loaded about 200 pounds of rocks. This is a race sled. This is the sled that I rode in the race this year. 200 pounds of rocks in the sled, and drove it 15 miles back to my camp, just rolling around to build my sauna stove. And when I told Cody that I did that, he looked at me and he was, "Why did you do that?" And I was testing it. I'm his durability tester. So anyways, you're not going to break a Dog Paddle Design sled. I am on the same page as Mike. Thanks so much for building great sleds, Cody. We can't get down the trail without awesome sleds. Let's see, I got to get going here. Horse expediting. Josh, my handler, my great friend. I wouldn't be here without him. Thanks a lot, man. My dad, who was always here, he missed the race last year. This year, with a second team, he was called back up, and he drove the truck around, and that was awesome. I know he helped Casey out a lot, and it's always a really good. He's a good support group out there. I think there's a lot of mushers out there, handlers that have been helped by my dad to fix their truck or fix something along the way. So it's great having him out on the trail. Okay, here we go. Steve, my other handler, Steve and Josh, they were outstanding. They were the rock, I had a couple challenging moments out there, and when I came into circle, after Taco had died a couple checkpoints back, I was out of race mode. I was totally I was going to finish, we were going to make it to the finish line, but I wasn't going to race. I really just wasn't prepared for it. And before the race, I had a talk with Josh, and I said, if I'm ever down, it's your responsibility to get me back up. And I came in, and from the get-go, it was just, no, you're not doing that. He didn't tell me no, but he looked at me like with some weird look, like, what do you mean you're not racing, And I got my dogs all fed up, and we walked back, and he looked at me and said, we were in like 7th or 8th place at that point, and said, you've got a top 10 team. Or a top 5 team. He said, this is a top 5 team right here. And I started believing from then, and here we are in 4th place. So thanks so much, my handlers, for this couple more people. Jim Moody, always a supporter every year. This year he wrote a check on our way out of Whitehorse that he doesn't even have any idea how much it helped me out. So that's awesome. And then Kurt, Kurt's the guy who got me started in all this, and he's the guy that I got Silver and Madonna from. Silver, which we all know who Silver is, who's led me over some pretty extreme stuff. And Madonna, which was Kyla's main lead dog, get hurt on the trail. So Kurt, I owe a lot to Kurt to get me started in this and keep me going. So thanks a lot, Kurt. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up here. All of my friends that are here, Tom, always a big supporter. Alex, always a huge supporter of Wild and Free handling in the mid-distance races this year. Overall, I did lose a dog, Taco, and I'm probably not going to be able to say too much, but he was an awesome dog. He was a dog that's been in every single race I've ever run, finished every single race I've ever run, and he'll be very, very missed. But sometime in the next couple months, we're going to throw a huge party for Taco. So you're all invited, and I'll make sure you all know. And so keep your head high, be positive. That's how you get through this race, and enjoy every second. That's all you can do in life, and it'll get you a long ways. Thanks a lot.
And wipe the tears. So very inspirational. All right, in third place, I'd like to welcome Ken Anderson. With his new facial.
My Eagle Summit facial before my Norton Sound facial. Just thank you all for coming out and supporting our sport. We all really appreciate it. It's kind of a family we have here, and everybody keeps saying this was a crazy race, and definitely a wild race, and kind of a race I'd rather not repeat. It's pretty rough. But I got to thank my dogs. I started the race with a kind of a hot rod team. I had 11 rowdy young males and 3 females in various stages of heat, and it was just like these sparks were flying right away, and we kind of self-imploded there, but got down to this core group of 8 dogs that just ran a remarkable race, and all this drama kept happening along the way, and I just kept saying that this race is not over until we cross the finish line. I just kept saying that, but there was times when I was really bummed out, down to 8 dogs. I was in 7th or 8th place. One time especially was seeing Dan Caduce come up on me so fast from behind, coming into circle, and just being so envious of his team and how he very masterfully put that together, and it was coming together, and I really would have given anything to have that happening to my team, but just kept plugging along, and then all of a sudden the Eagle Summit drama, and I get into 101, and I was second. I had no idea that was going to happen, and it was kind of fun to be in first place for a while. It didn't last, but I'm tickled to be standing here, period, as a finisher, and to be in third place. I'm pretty excited about that. This year was such a real challenge. Y'all know we've got three kids, little rugrats. You probably all met them here at some point tonight, running around your table. And it's just been a huge ordeal orchestrating everything. And we got really lucky the last couple of years. We've had some really good handlers. And Oyvind and Trina, I got to thank you guys. You guys have been so awesome. And we had a great handlers 2 years prior, Michael and Jen. And then their friends Paul and Ida came over from Norway to help out too. thanks you guys. And then we have help with the kids at home. Our nanny, Katie Jo, and her boyfriend Jeff that watched the dogs when we were gone. So thanks to those guys. And then of course, a huge thanks to my wife Gwen. A lot of you probably followed her writings, and I don't know how she pulled it all off. She's working a full-time job dealing with kids and trying to keep these updates going for you all. And I think she pissed a couple of people off. But most people were pretty happy with them. What did I just say? Anyway, the volunteers and staff, they really make you feel special. You come into the office here at the Quest office, and they're just such nice folks. They really make you feel special. And then I have some sponsors. Red Paw has been with us for a long time, and they're sponsoring several other top mushers. And it's just, I've been so fortunate. I started feeding their food before we got a sponsorship from them, and it's just been such a no-brainer. It's so easy to feed this food. You just feed it out, and the dogs do great. The U.S. Coast Guard has sponsored us this last year, and Lupin headlights. They're all these headlights are going to LEDs and now rechargeables, and I only had to recharge my batteries like once in Dawson City. Granted, I had 3 batteries. Those 3 batteries once, but still, they're amazing, kick-ass lights. And I got a new sled this year, and it's kind of a fancy, fast carbon fiber sled. I was a little worried about taking it, but it held up really well. Lone Wolf sleds, so thanks to those guys. And then the Wedgwood Resort, they sponsor me a little bit. I give talks about that other race at the Wedgwood in the summertime, and thanks to those guys and Northern Outfitters, they kept us warm. I really never, it was cold, and I looked pretty stupid if I said I never felt cold, because look at my face. But that was, my gear was awesome, except I pulled my mask down going over Eagle Summit, and that's how that happened. But it's going to take some memory loss to want to run the race again this way. But I'll probably be back next year going the other way. So thank you all.
Thank you, Ken. And Ken received a dog sled and musher ink rendering on caribou antler donated by Arctic Traveler. So thanks so much for that. Now to present our second place award, I'd like to bring up Shelley McCool from Alpine Lodge. Alpine is the official hotel of the Yukon Quest over here on the Alaska side. They've really taken care of us, and she's jogging up here just as fast as she can. And she's going to be giving the award to second place finisher Sebastian Schnoller.
On behalf of the Alpine Lodge, very, very proud sponsor since 2008. Congratulations. We're just proud to be a part of this great race. Thank you.
I got instructions before to not screw this up. So I hope I didn't.
We're watching.
Yeah, wild race it was. Not in my wildest dreams would I have thought I'm standing here in second place. For me, the motto of this race was definitely just never give up. Things went awfully wrong for me all season, even before the race. At the hookup, I had somebody step on the foot of my main lead dog, break a toe. 2 miles out, I started massaging the first dog. I was like, oh my God, why am I going back to this? And just never give up. Over time, things started coming together, and in Dawson City, I made a joke, which was like, well, the only way I will do well in this race if we get some bad weather. I don't know what I was thinking. I will definitely never ever say that one again. Little did I know what was coming. Leaving Dawson, it just was like one whack after the other. My first camp out, I woke up covered in 4 inches of fresh wet snow. American Summit. It was there somewhere in the wind. I didn't really see anything. I never even saw the liquor store. So it was a wild ride. Leaving Eagle, there was no traces of the trail. Hans broke out most of that one, which was a pretty zigzag course. Then the next zigzag course I put in from leaving Trout Creek Cabin, and there was miles and miles of no trail markers. It's like, well, last year the crossing used to be kind of here. So, okay, let's go over that way. And, next run, 50 below, pretty much all the way to Circle. And, leaving Circle, my team kind of came together. Hans left about an hour ahead of me. By the time we got to the bridge, I had him, and I was like, oh, this is kind of nice. Well, racing went out of the window about 2 hours later once we were stuck in the water again. And it just kept on going like it, leaving Circle, leaving Central, going up Eagle Summit, you could just tell looking up that damn thing, oh, it's going to be windy. And so in the end I was very glad to make it in one piece here to Fairbanks. No, I did not have a brain fast to rest 4 hours in Mile 101. I really needed those. I needed those, the dogs needed it. I simply almost couldn't get out of my jacket. And I was just glad to be there, to sit in front of the wood stove, eat all the bacon I can. I'm very good at that part. And the last 2 runs into Fairbanks were actually somewhat uneventful. It was actually, the run over to Angel Creek there was nice moonlight, almost calm. I was like, wow, what's going to happen here? But nothing happened. And same thing with the run into Fairbanks. I'd like to thank all the volunteers. I mean, there's some people out there year after year. Mike Sager, Trout Creek Cabin, 28 years. Every year he just on his own dime, on his own time, comes out there, makes food for us. It makes for some pretty special friendships. And same as Ken. I wonder if I froze my brain enough to come back, but you never know. Have a good night.
Thank you, Sebastian. Congratulations on a fantastic race. Now to present the first place prize, I'd like to bring up Kevin Spreekmeister from Canada Goose and Ronnie from Coca-Cola. And they'll be presenting to this year's 2011 Yukon Quest champion, Dallas Seavey. Representing Dallas with his very own Canada Goose Coca-Cola red jacket. And Dallas, we'd also like to present you with this jade trophy. Of a Musher and his dogs. Congratulations on a great race.
Thank you, guys. I could have used this just before Central. That's a little damp right about then. Well, a couple things to go through here. First of all, I'd just like to thank this race and everybody it takes to put it on. I know it's been said many times before me, all the mushers leading up here, but it's very true and it deserves to be said again. All the volunteers that go into a race like this, it is incredible. If you think back to the starting of the race, it seems like years ago. I mean, we live very much in the now as this race progresses. You're always focused on the next problem, the next windstorm, the next pass, the next waist-deep water. So, looking back to the beginning is a long time ago, and you think of a full 1,000 miles of volunteers and support to get us here. It's really something to wrap your mind around. And what was neat about it is the volunteers, they're not just out here volunteering, begrudgingly. They were all very enthusiastic, trying to help us out in any way possible, trying to make us have a good time, Also, all the little communities along the way, the people who opened up their cabins, a lot of those little dog drop stops were really neat, really nice. Met some cool people out there. I had a blast on this race. Let's see, my sponsors. That's an important part for all of us mushers, is not just having the race here. That's a huge part of it, but we've got to get to the race. I've got one very, very good sponsor, J.J. Keller and Associates. They are the reason not only that I can do this race, but all my races. So a huge thanks to them, and that's been a neat relationship that's gone from a sponsorship into a really neat friendship over the years. Also, the people a little closer to home, I have some really nice help this year. at the beginning of this race, I was saying, well, we'll see if I want to thank my handlers by the end of the race, and that's a definite yes. Going into this race, I had Andrew Beal and Al Eichens. Neither of them had a lot of sled dog experience, but they did everything possible to figure out what the best thing for the dogs was. Watching other people, asking anything they could, and they did an incredible job out there. So huge thanks to you guys. I really appreciate your help out there. Also, not just Al, but his wife Tangela helped hugely getting everything ready. We started out, I just need a set of jackets, for my dogs. A nice set of jackets. She started sewing a beautiful set of dog jackets. She got just started on that, and actually I need some leggings for them and some wraps for the harnesses to help prevent harness rub there. And then a couple days later, it was something else on my parka and my snow pants that needed to get fixed. And then it was my sled bag that the zipper came off of it and everything else. By the time we got here, I think we only had about half the dog coats, but I think they're all done now. But we got everything else for me and all that. And that's just really nice having people like that will do absolutely anything to help us get to the start of the race. Anybody who's run a dog race before knows how many little things that have to be done and how important those people that are willing to do it and step up and drive to town and pick something up for you. So huge thanks to you guys. Also, my family. That's been a huge part of my racing since I was a wee little child. I've grown up doing this, and my family has always been super supportive. At the end of the race, I had my grandparents, my mom, brothers, everything up here. It was really, really nice having that support. My wife and my little baby Annie, they have put up with so much at home helping us get up here, so very big thanks to them. And then, moving on. This is the first sled dog race I've ever won. I've been racing for 20 years now, and I finally won one. And what an awesome race it was to win. I could not pick a better one to start out on, so thank you guys for that. It was a strange feeling. When I finally started out and was actually in first place for the first time, leaving Two Rivers out there, I was mushing along and I kept thinking I was lost because there's no sled tracks in front of me. Now, anybody who's raced with me usually knows that I don't mind ski pulling and running a lot. I do a lot of that out there, and about halfway in from Two Rivers, I was already ski pulling and running, trying to stay ahead of Sebastian. He had a very, very nice looking dog team out there, so constantly looking over my shoulder. Well, pretty soon I see a little clump on the river up ahead of me that looks like a dog team, and I'm thinking, yes, I almost caught one, And again, wait a second, there's nobody left ahead of me, so it's a strange feeling, and it's just great to have that, that experience, this win on this race. See, the last thing, I guess, like everybody said, this was a unique dog race. Very unique, I think would be a good way to put it. We had all sorts of challenges, and these challenges, a lot of them came somewhat unannounced. Like the rather deep water we ended up in between Circle and Central. That was very much so unannounced. I was having a splendid run down Birch Creek. Had just stopped for a nice about 4-hour camp. My dogs were moving well. I was having a great time. Granted, it was 50 below, but I was having a good time. Then all of a sudden I start seeing some dark stuff up ahead of me, and long story short, after about an hour of waiting around in water well over my knees, trying to get my dog team out of there, my sled out of there, and another dog that was loose out of there, we were pretty damp, to say the least. And that was definitely, like I said after that time, that definitely ranked in the top 10 of the oh shucks situations I've been on with dog teams. But it was a challenge. It was interesting. It was fun. Looking back, it was fun. And I really want to thank Ken Anderson. He came in there right as I was getting out of the water and stopped, and cost himself, I would say hours helping me out there as much as he could. Neither of us had a whole lot of extra gear, but he helped me get my almost frozen boots off, which allowed me to get some dry socks on and some bags inside those boots, which probably saved my feet from being very frostbit. When you're wet like that, getting frozen layers off is a two-man job. So thanks a lot. He helped me hook up my dog team again and got going. I told him I got to stop and rebooty these dogs. Had to get those icy boots off them. I told him, go ahead, we'll be fine. He said, absolutely not. He stuck it out, waited for us, and we got moving. Thank you. And that's what is really neat about this race is, most of us kind of leave each other alone. We're all running our own race. But if somebody's legitimately in a situation, they will help you out. It doesn't matter if you guys are the biggest rivals out there. Nobody's going to leave you to freeze to death. And they're going to do what needs to be done all the way to the end. So thank you very much for that, Ken. And I think that's about all I have to say. So thank you very much, Yukon Quest. We'll be back.
These are the special awards that are given out each year, depending on the different races. And this year we actually have a new award that I'll let Marty Story, as I nudge her a little bit, to come up and help us give out this new award.
Okay, so all of you have heard over and over again about the families and the people and the volunteers and the teams, the dogs. The same common thread flows through in all of them. We have a Golden Harness Award that we're going to be giving to the leaders lead dogs for their exemplary behavior and for being the first dogs across the line. And it's been brought up before. Our athletes are a lot like Olympic athletes. We have our gold medal winners, we have our silver medal winners, we have our bronze medal winners. And the whole thing in this is all about teams. And every single musher and every single dog has their own story. And I just want to share one with you tonight. This one actually goes back a little bit. It goes back to the very first race in 2006 with a silly little dog named Silver. And I don't know if you've heard all these stories or not, but you're going to hear a couple more. It's just one of them. So the very first time that Silver was ever in a race, it was a Yukon Quest 300, and it was in 2006. How old was that little dog that time? 3-year-old. That 3-year-old led a team over Eagle Summit in a storm, another common thread, and he helped Randy Chappelle, who had lost his team, and he went back and he helped lead another team over the summit. Today, we have another storm, and we have another summit, and we have another dog team. And Silver helped lead a team, 2 teams, his own team and another team, over American Summit going into Eagle. We would like to honor Silver, and we would ask the person that Silver owns to come up here, please.
Man's best friend doesn't even explain what this dog has done for me and done for my team. And I don't know. He's the best friend you could ever have, and the thing that he's taught me best is just to never give up. We got up there this year, and it was very apparent that Hans was in a hard way. He was not doing well, and the first thing he asked me when he jumped out of his sleeping bag, shivering, frozen, wet, was, "Can you make it? Can you go through?" And I didn't even hesitate a second, because I knew that I had Silver right here, and there was 2 dogs up there, and I knew that at that point I just had to put him up there in single lead, and we went by Hans and we got him sorted out, and I put him up in front, and I couldn't look into the wind. I couldn't. It was just like being sandblasted, and he look at all those trees for you. And he just helped yourself. Jeez, you're getting spoiled tonight, buddy. Bottom line was he just went forward, and he held that line out and busted through the snowdrift, over the top of the snowdrift. I had no control. There was nothing I could say or do to make him do what he was doing. He knew the mission, the task we had at hand. That was to get
me and Hans over that section of trail, and yeah, he's just never given up on me one time, and I think it's amazing. I can't. Yeah, this is awesome. Thanks to the Yukon Quest for doing this.
For this kind of occasion, it's called the Silver Legacy Award. So,
big thanks to Kurt. Kurt's the guy who gave this puppy to me at 6 weeks old and said, "Go have fun doing this." And this dog is really all I have to do. Thanks, Kurt.
In addition to his steak dinner and his big bowl of treats from Cold Spot Feeds, we've got this beautiful ink rendering of Silver for you to forever. So thanks for being an inspiration for both of you guys. Looks like you've got a lot of eating to do, John. Grab the dog, but he doesn't want to leave anything on the table. Great. Thank you so much. All right, our next award is the Dawson City Award, and this is given to the musher, the first musher to get to Dawson City that finishes the race. And this year, the first musher to get to Dawson City was not necessarily the first one to finish the race. So we've got, in honor of this, that we get 4 ounces of plaster gold donated by Joe and Wendy Fellers from Dawson City every year. And, you know, in the past, 4 ounces has been nice, but this year, 4 ounces is really nice. So we really appreciate that. And to present the award, I would like to bring up Donna Clayson, one of the Yukon board members.
4 ounces of gold, $5,000 approximately. I think I'll just go home tonight. Thanks so much to Joe and Wendy Fellers of Failhawk Plaza in Dawson City. Really appreciate this award. I'd like to present it to Ken Anderson. First one. Congratulations, Ken. You deserve it. There you go. It's all yours. Thank you very much, Ken.
Thank you. Wow, this is great. I didn't even think about this until I was coming into Fairbanks. I was like, I wonder if I won that. Awesome. This is very nice. I lost my wedding ring. Horsing around on a boat with my little brother last summer, and so I'm going to get it replaced real quick. Thank you all very much.
And now we have a few other dogs to honor. We've got the Golden Harness Award, and this award is presented to the champions' lead dogs to thank them for their hard work and perseverance. And I'm assuming they're coming. And just like Silver, they're going to be honored with a lovely steak dinner. And a custom-made golden harness sponsored by Cold Spot Feeds. And so we want to bring the chef of the Westmark. We've got the Westmark staff up here to present them. And it's Chung and Diesel. And I'll let their human speak for them.
Alright, we got Chung and Diesel coming in here today. But we actually got kind of a third party that deserves to be recognized, and that's Guinness. She's kind of a little squirt of a dog that's not overly social with big crowds, so come on, big guy, it's alright. There you go. So Chung came here in lieu of her. Look at that big guy. What do you think of that, buddy? I'm not sure that they're going to eat in front of a bunch of people that are kind of modest like that. These two guys, especially Diesel, the big guy on the left there, he was really the big surprise of the year. He's only about, 4 years old now. He had done very little leading going into this race. He was always just kind of a super swing dog. Chung, this big guy here, he's kind of his mentor. There you go, buddy. You can have it. Look at that. There you go. They just needed permission. But these two guys have been with me in a lot of races, and Diesel, he's going to be one that's up there for the next many years, so look out for him. And it looks like they're getting over that whole being bashful about eating thing. Alright, good boys.
Congratulations, Ty and Diesel. And congratulations, guys. Looks like they've really gotten over being shy, and now we're eating each other's food up here. So.
That wasn't the Musher.
Congratulations to Ty and Diesel, everybody. Let's give another round of applause. I think they're going to need a doggy bag. You knew I had to do it. You knew I had to do it. We got to get some bad humor in here. All right. So the next award, since Dallas is already up here, is an unusual thing.
There we go.
It's the Rookie of the Year award, and it's unusual because typically our champion is not also a rookie. But Dallas had an amazing rookie run, and we're honored to present him with this metal sculpture in honor of that amazing run, Rookie of the Year and champion. Congratulations.
Cool, thank you guys. I mean, when we came out here, we weren't trying to win the race necessarily. We were running a kind of conservative schedule, wanted to have a good race, get ready for that other race coming up soon. And as it turned out with all the bad weather and everything, that conservative schedule ended up being a really good racing schedule. It worked out well. Rookie of the Year was one thing that we came here with kind of an eye on. There were some very exceptional rookies in this year's race, so it was by no means a given. So this is something we were hoping for when we came here, so we got her. Good deal. Thank you.
Thank you, Dallas and Graham. Amazing race, amazing boxing. Thank you. So one award that we're not going to be able to give out tonight, unless we've got a musher coming in shortly, is the Red Lantern. And the Red Lantern is given to the musher who comes in at the end, the final musher to come in honor of the hard work and dedication that it takes to finish this race, even at the back of the pack. So we'll be looking forward to giving that to Hank DeBrun when he crosses the finish line sometime tonight. So we'll 5 miles out from what I hear. So he's making his way with that beautiful team beside you. So the next award that we have is the Challenge of the North Award, sponsored by Denali State Bank. This is selected by the race marshal and the judges. And they're going to get a stained glass rendition of the Yukon Quest sitting dog, created by Expressions in Glass. And this goes to the musher who really exemplifies the spirit of the Yukon Quest. And I'm going to bring up Ken Zotley to let us know who received that this year.
Well, it didn't take us actually very long, I think, to decide that we award this year. I think that person had that long coming, continuously been sort of in that spirit, and this year that award goes to Kelly Griffin.
Wow, thank you. And what does it also say?
All right, the next award that we're going to be giving out is the Veterinarian's Choice Award. And this is always an honor to receive. It's presented to the musher who best demonstrates outstanding canine care while remaining competitive throughout the race. This award is a legacy for aspiring mushers to emulate in the humane treatment and care of their team. This year's award is an amazingly beautiful burned birch burl plaque, try to say that 3 times fast, depicting a dog team scene, and it was donated by Tom Schultz, who incidentally also did the amazing amazing ink rendering of silver, and Tom's right back there, and he doesn't want to be recognized, but he's an amazing, amazing artist. The team also gets $1,000 in Canadian funds, which right now is higher than American, for the record, for veterinary services for their team, and that is sponsored by Alpine Veterinary Medical Clinic and Uncommon Journeys in Whitehorse, and we really appreciate their support of this very, very important award, and that is selected by the race veterinarian. So, Al, talk to us.
Thank you. This year's recipient of the Veterinarian's Choice Award has a history of exemplary dog care on this race, and he comes into this race with his dogs in top shape, and he finishes the race with his dogs in top shape. And I feel that this award should go to a husband and wife. Come on out, Mike and Sue.
For a team that knows they can't win the race running Siberians, this is really the highest award I can look for in racing. Thank you very much. Obviously, I have to thank my dogs, and like Al says, we are a team, very much a team. Thank you, Sue. There's something I learned early on in mushing, and that was something somebody used to say at every awards banquet. What used to be the biggest race in the world to me, which was the Can-Am 250 back east where I started, and that was a Quebec musher that always said at the end of every one of his speeches, he said, "Respect your dogs." And I've always held that close to my heart. And whatever your dogs can do, that has to be good enough. And I try to live by that. And respect your dogs.
All right, the final award of tonight is the Sportsmanship Award. And man, that had to be a hard one. This one's voted on by the mushers. So they select who they feel is should be recognized as a sportsman. And as I said, there was so much sportsmanship on the race this year. It had to be a hard decision, and I don't even know who it is yet. So I'm going to bring Marty up again. She's been tallying, and Hans tallying the votes. And yeah, I'm interested.
Go ahead. So now I'm Marty. The Sportsmanship Awards are presented to the musher who demonstrates outstanding sportsmanship along the trail as selected by their fellow mushers. This award is sponsored by Sue's Kiskin and the Alaska Trapper Association. This year it has been kind of a funny vote, and because of the difficulty of this race, there was so much sportsmanship going on that we decided we will not divide it and take a second vote. It goes to 3 different individuals, and we will make sure that all of you get the same prize. It goes to Mile Ellis, Alan Moore, and Brent Sass. We're going to have two hats. We'll get the third one made.
You gotta give him the mic. We're talking, Mike.
Yeah, so good at this. Yeah, there was a lot of working together. I don't think I deserve this any more than anybody else. There were times where that's what it called for. And that's what we did. So my hat's off to the folks who helped me too.
Yeah, when we went back to the vote, I was like, every single one of us have a story about how we helped somebody else or how they helped us, and so I'm honored to be up here with you guys. We should all be standing up here in a big line, and we all have beaver hats, But so we were just put in the right position and able to help somebody out, and I think throughout the race, everybody gets that. So my hat's off to every one of you guys out there.
Just at the Yukon Quest, it seems like that, every musher here will help someone else, no matter what's going on, like what Ken did for CV and just everyone. It's just amazing, and I don't feel we did anything over and above what anybody else would do. Maybe it was just the right situation that is happening. But anyway, we think the world of all the mushers here, and thank you.
How can we top it? Well, first we need to do the 50-50 drawing, because I know you guys are all excited to see who wins the money. I also just want to say thanks to everybody. We're already looking at next year. February 4th, 2012, we'll be leaving right from the Chena River here in downtown Fairbanks. We look forward to seeing you all there. They say that one of my favorite quotes is, "Time spent in the wind wears away all that is superficial." And I think this race really exemplifies that. Really got to the core of what's important to all of us. So, Mindy, who's going to win? Oh, we've got a beautiful princess doing the drawing for us, and future musher. Who says you can't be a princess and a musher? That's what I have to say. All right.
All right. Well, I'd like to announce that we collected $1,386. You can go to the front table out there and collect your prize. There was $10 in Canadian money. I realize it's on a positive side for the Canadian exchange. We didn't make that Canadian exchange for this, but thanks for that $10 bill. And this is Bree, and she's going to draw our winning ticket. Do you want to introduce yourself? I don't know who. I think she's here with one of the mushers. No?
Not a Yukon Quest unless you're going to the sprint musher.
All right, well, Bree's going to win the ticket. I've been in the back mixing them all up so they're well mixed. And go ahead. All right, we have a winning ticket, and it's blue. Oh. All right, let's read this number off. 683-894. Do we have a winner? 894.